Hi, my name is Father Rayappa. I am from Kattupadi village, uh, Vellore, India. So today I'm going to talk about adaptation. Uh, it's a very important component of every living organism. Every organism is defined by three words: consumption, reproduction, adaptation. The first two words, I think we know it too well. The last adaptation, our knowledge is nil, zero. So I think because a lot of things are happening today in the modern world, extinction of species, issue of water, exploitation of natural resources, global warming, climate change, erosion, loss of soil, a lot of things, loss of biodiversity. And in the biodiversity, we are also a part of it. And it's about our own extinction we are talking about. So this mass extinction is about human species. Don't forget that. So in this kind of precarious situation, what should we talk about? Consumption, reproduction, or adaptation? I think adaptation is the apt response. It's a correct response. And we need to educate our kids. Of course, we will disappear and they are going to live. They are going to pass their genes to the next generations and many hundreds of generations to come. So we need to work hard on some mutations. Mutations will have a greater effect in the future. So adaptation is a kind of mutation, it's a change to fit into the present context. We can't be expecting those glorious utopian days in Garden of Eden. One day, the life in the Garden of Eden is going to be ending. Get ready for hell. So that's what the biblical story is just an archetypal story about our human life. And probably so far we have been living in comfort like Garden of Eden, but now the global warming, climate change has changed it all. Welcome to the world of hell. And we can adopt to hell too. That is the good news. You don't have to hate hell. You adopt. Your thermostat can adjust to the hell environment. And we become survival of the fittest. And we'll be doing some business in hell too. We are smart species. We are not stupid. We will not be the victims of some religious curse. No. If you are an imbecile. I think we are masters of our own reason. We can rise up above sometimes metaphysical stupidity. So we can say goodbye to them and adopt to more reasonable things. So I think in mental paradigm we need to adapt. Don't think about those old days, what religion told. We have been talking even today about that. That is not adaptation. That is succumbing to the present catastrophe. We need to come up with new models of life and new models of adaptation, new models of living, maybe new lifestyle, new habits. Only that can change our life. So, let me explain what adaptation means. There are three different kind of adaptations in an ecosystem. The one is called habitat tracking, another one is genetic change, another one is extinction. Only three, they come in successive orders sometimes. The first one is habitat tracking. What is habitat tracking? It's nothing. When humans don't find this environment is conducive, helpful to their own life, they're going to abandon this environment and they're going to move on to some kind of another environment where environment is comfortable and conducive and where you can find food, water and peace and tranquility and prosperity. So that is what it's all about. So that is what humans good and they are looking for. But sometimes we don't look for outside, but always we want to fill in the present disastrous context. That causes a sinister problem to the earth, because this environment is already hot and we can't live. Let's go like birds and animals to another environment, adapt ourselves, but the humans won't do. But on the other hand, they bend the environment to suit their needs. That's a problem. That's a problem. If you adapt to the environment, no problem. But you bend the environment. You bring the air conditioning machine and you fit it and you bend the environment and you pollute outside. This is the basic of all environmental problems. Humans, because of brain and reasoning and cognition, we know how to bend. In other words, how to manipulate. That's not a good word. That is what humans are good at. That's why we are facing thousands of problems. So habitat tracking is good. We don't do habitat tracking. We do air conditioned machine tracking. We need car tracking. We need cell phone tracking, technologies, science tracking. It's okay. But habitat tracking is good because ecosystems can teach you the best. What is the best for humans? Habitat tracking, not the air conditioned tracking. That will add more problems to the environment and for the future generations. So we don't repeat that. We have to learn that. There are a lot of limiting factors like snow. People live in the north hemisphere and south hemisphere in snow. That's a limiting factor. Nature is imposing an obstacle, telling you don't live here, go to equator, where there is no snow, because mammals live in a warm climate. But people never listen. Europeans, Americans, Canadians, Eskimos, even in the southern part, all of them, they defy limiting factors. They say limiting factors. They never respect. So they build houses, they eat oil, gas, fossil fuel. The rest is history. Global warming, climate change. Limiting factors we need to take into account in the future if you want to exist, if you want to continue your existence on Earth. So far we never respect limiting factors. Every organism on Earth, they respect limiting factors. That is the key to the success of our species, if you do that. But that is the downfall if you don't do that. So that's what we have been doing for the past 10,000 years. Humans, hunters and gatherers, 10,000 years back, that was the great habitat tracking. One habitat, no food, no water, they went to another habitat. Even today, gypsies live that way. They eat, they drink, they live in a cave or under the tree, and they move on. Even Jesus says, don't stay in one place. Be a hunter and gatherer. Jesus Christ's philosophy is hunters and gatherers. Go two by two. Go, don't stay in one place. Don't take anything. Go and take whatever is there. That's hunter and gatherer's lifestyle. 10,000 years back. Jesus tries to point out, go back, man, to hunters and gatherers. That is habitat tracking. So that's why they're successful. And then slowly we built villages, we found agriculture, built towns and cities. Today rest is history. Global warming, climate change. That is what we ended up. So, habitat tracking, we need to bring back. That is very important. So then comes genetic change that happens inside, isn't it? If you stay in the same habitat without doing habitat tracking, your genes will change. Your thermostat can adjust to the new environment. The old environment was 25 degrees Celsius. The new environment is 35 degrees Celsius. Don't afraid. Just be there. Be patient. Our body can adapt. Have trust in your own genes and body, the inner dimension. And slowly the gene change is called mutation. So your body automatically changes and adapts to the 35 degree Celsius environment. Of course, your children, when you have passed your genes to the next generation, the children, they will be able to living very nicely in a better way because their genes are fit for 35 degree Celsius environment. They will find 25 degree very hot, 35 hotter. They love it. So in the future, as it goes with mutations, they take it over. They might take it even to 75 degrees Celsius environment. Our humans can live. So our body has the ability to produce mutations, that ability to survive any environment, maybe minus 70 degrees Celsius to all the way to plus 70 degrees Celsius. we are able to survive because there is a genetic change. That's not in our control. It is in the control of the natural selection. It's a control of science. It's a control of evolution. 4.5 billion years of knowledge and wisdom. They do well. You trust them, and we can do it. As humans, animals, they move and they go away because they don't know there will be mutation going on because they are not aware of it. But humans, we know that our genes will change, mutate, and we will be fit to this environment. So we don't go. We defy and we stay, and we have more confidence because the intellect and the cognition and the reasoning, everything is working out for you not to abandon this environment. Stay here. Be prudent. You need to have endurance. That is the word. You have to endure the present environment and the context in order to reap the rewards very soon. But we don't do that. We don't have prudence. We don't have endurance. So maybe we put air condition, or we move away, or we spend so much money on oil and gas to cool down, and we become schizophrenic about it. And humans can't even stay 1 week in a dilapidated environment. They want to change the environment. And that is not the way. We need to give time because it takes time. Patience is the key. Evolution is about patience. 15 billion years, 4.5 billion years. Does it sound? Does it ring the bell? Patience. Eons, eras, periods, epochs. Does it ring the bell? Yeah, geological time scale, deep time, patience, endurance. All these things point out. Be calm, be quiet. The last thing, if you don't do all this, you go extinct. Only 3 possibilities. One is habitat tracking, another one is genetic change, third one is extinction. If there is no genetic change, if there is no habitat tracking, you go out of existence. So that is end of it. That's the demise of our species, Homo sapiens. Actually, we are not allowing the inner change to happen. That is the big impediment. That's a big problem. That's a big impediment. So there's nothing happening. And also habitat tracking, we are not doing it. We are not doing it. We are adamant. Stay here, bend the environment. So that's the way they all go, that's the way they all do. That is the way things go on. And in that way, of course, you're going to go extinct. That is what it's all about. Because you're not doing the 2 requirements. That will keep your species fit, but you're not doing it. So that means the next possibility is only extinction. 7 billion people we are talking about. The great mass extinction, that's what they say. There have been 5 great mass extinctions in the history of our planet Earth. The one is 450 million years. Ordovician mass extinction. The second is Devonian. That is 350 million years ago. The third is Permian mass extinction. That is 250 million. And the Triassic, the fourth one. That's 200 million, 210, 220. And then comes Cretaceous, 65 million years. That's the last one. That's the end of our dinosaurs. So after 65 million years, here comes the 6th mass extinction. That's about us. If you take the whole inventory, which species is going to extinct, everybody will come to, every scientist will agree on that. Human species is going to go extinct. It's about, I think in the shortest time period, maybe like 4 million years, only shortest time the humans occupied in the geological time scale, that's in the deep time. We don't have a deep time. Our time is very shallow. So all the projects, they were successful for the Mother Earth except one project, Homo sapiens, the failure project. In a short time, they went out of existence. So that tells us that our name is a misnomer. Homo sapiens is a misnomer. So anyway, this is the general introduction I'm giving to adaptations. And you can read in internet, and I'm going to uh, read something for you about adaptations and summarizing everything what I explained just for the past 15 minutes. Now I'm going to read and make sense to you. I think it will make sense to you. When the habitat changes, three main things may happen to a resident population. One, habitat tracking. The two, genetic change. Otherwise, extinction. In fact, all three things may occur in sequence. Of these three effects, only genetic change brings about adaptation. When a habitat changes, the most common thing to happen is that the resident population moves to another locale which suits it. This is the typical response of flying insects or oceanic organisms who have wide, though not unlimited, opportunity for movement. This common response is called habitat tracking. Genetic change is what occurs in a population when natural selection acts on the genetic variability of the population. Moreover, some mutations may create genetic variation that will lead to differing characteristics of offspring and hence abate adaptation. If a population cannot move or change sufficiently to preserve its long-term viability, then obviously it will become extinct, at, at least in long term or in that locale. The species may or may not survive in other locale. Species extinction occurs when the death rate over the entire species exceeds the birth rate for a long enough period for the species to disappear. It was an observation of Van Walen that groups of species tend to have a characteristic fairly regulate rate the extinction phases. So anyway, adaptation is very important. I think we need to learn, and our children need to be taught about adaptation, because this is the time to think about them, because that is the thing where we need to focus, because everything looks bleak, everything looks opaque, and again we ask, what is the definition of life? So life is defined by three things: consumption, reproduction, adaptation. Consumption, we are doing wonderful; reproduction, excellent; only zero adaptation. So I think we need to focus all our energy. Forget about those two things for a while, at least next 15 years. Focus on adaptation. Thank you.